Nathan Prescott is a punk ass who begs like a little girl and talks to himself.
You don't know who the fuck I am or who you're messing around with.
Where'd you get that? What are you doing? Come on, put that thing down!
Don't ever tell me what to do. I'm so sick of people trying to control me!
You are going to get in hella more trouble for this than drugs.
This scene, this is the starting point of Max discovering that she has this weird power, because basically this adrenaline rush and looking at Chloe getting shot, that's how she can trigger that for the first time, and she don't know really why, but that's the seriousness of the situation. Then you'll go back in the art class. So we really tried on this scene to show the déjà vu feeling. So the editing and the shots were there to give this weird feeling to the player that, okay, I'm living that again and again, looking at the different moments that the player saw the first time in this scene.
So yeah, for the editing in this sequence, we wanted to keep the same elements, but not necessarily the same shots. You can see that first 3 shots are the same, I think, and after we begin to change a little the point of view. So you understand that there are the same events going on, but just seeing from a different point of view. And
I think, to be perfectly honest, we don't have a good explanation for why she's going back to the art class, because we needed it.
I've got one, but I will never tell you.
I don't think it's a mistake, and because we also needed to explain to the player, so the player can learn how things are working, and it's quite hard to do. So we took this freedom to have Max go back to the art class, which, even if it's a bit contradictory with how her power works after that. We are using this to explore more of Max's personality, of the characters, and because that's the way we created the character. Max, as we've seen that with what she's thinking. She has a lot of insecurity. She has issues to go forward in her life, to take decisions, and now she has this ability to not going forward, but going even backward. So it's an interesting storytelling device to question with her character and with the player, of course, to question choice and consequences, to question fate, to question really interesting issues.
I think Max would never have changed as much as here in our story without this power and without this sci-fi element. So it puts the player in a very interesting position, because she will ask himself why he's doing some interaction. He can undo the interaction and try something else, but also Max, by doing this, will ask herself, am I doing the right decision? Is it the good choice or not? So we deconstruct the mechanism of classic adventure game, just by adding this power and the fact that you can undo things and try another things.
Of course, in most games, you can do it with quick save, quick load, but it's like you said, it's only the player who do that, and that's one of the main themes of the games. That if I had the power to rewind and to change things, should I do it? Because sometimes it can be really seen as lying, as if I say a lot of things that you don't like, and if I go back in time and don't say them to try to, so you're not angry at me, it's a bit tricking. So we are really asking those questions, and in the beginning of the game, we are letting the player and Max do it a lot. She's getting to make a lot of friends with this rewind. But later in the game, and especially in episode 5, we are really questioning this to see maybe it wasn't the right thing. Maybe what you did to try to lie to people with your power, was it really good? And that's something that can be interesting for the story, but also to ask the player at a moment.
I think this is what we wanted to do also with this game, to show that it's difficult to make the choice, and it's even more difficult to live with it, but you have to learn to do that.
And even if you could hesitate a lot, there is no perfect way to do things.
Okay, if I'm crazy, I might as well go all the way. Can I actually reverse time?
So that's basically that the first time the player will actively rewind. So we have Max thinking that, okay, I just got back in time. I'm in the art class, and so that's why we made her break her camera, because we needed to have an element that the player will see that we will rewind. So we can really explain how do you rewind. So Max broke her camera, and then she's thinking, okay, if I got back in time, maybe I can try to do it again and revert that. So that's the first real rewind the player is actively doing. It's okay. We don't really want the players to use the rewind all the time. But since it's important in the beginning of the game to really show the player the tools he have, and it was important for us to have this in this scene, to have a lot of use of the rewind, so he can really, okay, I know how it is now, and now I decide if I use it or not.
I hope I have enough time to get to the bathroom. Please, please. I can't tell anybody. They'll think I'm crazy.
Since we are really playing the game with the point of view of Max, for her, not everything is clear, so it shouldn't be clear for the player. But there is a lot of hints that should really guide the players to understand what's happening. We have a lot of symbolism with totem spirit animals. We have the doe, and you can clearly see in episode 4 that the doe is linked to Rachel, and it's basically somehow a presence of Rachel that's guiding Max at moments. I'm not sure that a lot of players notice that, but in episode 2 actually, when you see the doe in the junkyard, it's precisely where Rachel is buried. There is this mystic feeling around the town, and since we didn't want to clearly explain everything, it's part of what makes Arcadia Bay a bit different and a bit special.